You've probably seen the Eclipse trailer once, gone, okay, cool drums, freaky Eclipse cult, Yoda cameo, but where in the timeline are we? Is this Old Republic, prequels? What's going on? Short answer. Star Wars Eclipse is set in the High Republic era, a chunk of the timeline that happens a couple of centuries before the Phantom Menace, when the Galactic Republic and the Jedi are at the absolute peak. This isn't the grim, collapsing prequel era Republic. This is the we actually have our lives together phase. So today we're going to break down where the High Republic sits in the timeline, what the galaxy actually looks like in this era, how the Jedi are different here, who the major threats are, and why all that matters for Star Wars Eclipse. By the end, you'll basically have a lore cheat sheet ready for when Eclipse finally drops. So let's start with where the High Republic sits in the timeline. Think of the Star Wars timeline like a huge line. Old Republic, High Republic, prequels, original trilogy, sequels. The High Republic era sits between the ancient Old Republic stuff and the Fall of the Jedi prequel era. Canon-wise, we're talking roughly 500 to 100 years before A New Hope, with most of the key High Republic books and comics sitting around 200 years before the Phantom Menace. So when you see Yoda in High Republic material, including the Eclipse trailer, he's not the frail little goblin in the swamp. He's still old, but he's a fully active Grandmaster in a Jedi Order that's actually functioning. The big thing to lock in is this. Eclipse isn't happening during the Clone Wars, the Empire, or the sequel, Chaos. It's happening in a time where the Republic is stable, rich, and expanding, and the Jedi are public heroes, not hunted fugitives. That one fact alone completely changes the kind of story Eclipse can tell. So what's the galaxy look like in this era? Officially, the High Republic is described as a golden age of the Republic and the Jedi. Peace, prosperity, shiny ships, hopeful art, deco aesthetics. The Republic is expanding into the Outer Rim, building new routes, new stations, and trying to bring order and infrastructure to wild space. Instead of constant galaxy-wide war, you've got big Republic projects like Starlight Beacon, a massive space station meant to be a symbol of hope, and a comms hub on the frontier. Worlds on the edge of the map finally being connected to the civilized core. Politicians, corporations, and local powers are fighting, quietly or loudly, over who controls these new trade routes and territories. It's almost like a sci-fi Wild West boom time. Massive opportunity, massive inequality, and a lot of people who do not want the Republic showing up and telling them how to live. This is exactly the kind of setting where a game like Eclipse can thrive, because it's less war story and more political thriller frontier drama, with lightsabers and space cults. By the way, if you're into deep dive stuff like this, where we actually unpack the lore behind these games instead of just reacting to trailers, drop a like, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments, which era would you rather actually live in? High Republic Golden Age, or the chaos of the Empire Mando timeline? I'm really curious where people land on that, because the High Republic looks pretty nice until the Space Vikings show up. Alright, let's get back into it. High Republic Jedi are not just prequel Jedi with new robes. In this era, the Jedi are at their most diverse and open, different lightsaber designs, robes, and philosophies across the Order, truly seen as guardians of peace and justice, not an unpopular political tool, spread across the galaxy in temples and outposts, not just sitting on Coruscant waiting for the plot to happen. They're more like a mix of Knights of the Round Table, space monks, and frontier sheriffs. You've got Jedi stationed on remote worlds acting as local protectors. Jedi on massive stations like Starlight Beacon, coordinating relief, diplomacy, and defense. Masters and Padawans who actually go out of their way to help regular people, not just negotiate trade disputes in fancy rooms. And visually, they lean into that golden age theme. White and gold robes, elegant armor pieces, more ceremonial designs. It's Star Wars' version of peak Renaissance, before everything goes downhill into war and fascism. For Star Wars Eclipse, that means you're not playing in a world where the Jedi are broken and hiding. You're in a world where Jedi walking into a room is a big deal, in a good way. Hope, authority, maybe fear if you're shady. And because this is Quantic Dream, you'll probably see both the idealistic side and hypocritical cracks under the surface. A golden age sounds boring if nothing ever goes wrong. So High Republic introduced some absolute nightmares. Now I might butcher some of these names. The big one is the Nihil, a loose, chaotic alliance of raiders described as Space Vikings. They use stolen hyperspace tech to appear out of nowhere and wreck shipping lanes. They don't want to rule the galaxy, they just want to break it and keep everyone else afraid. Then there's the Drengir, a carnivorous sentient plant creature, dark side tainted, can corrupt and consume. They're the kind of thing that makes you rethink ever stepping into a forest again. The very first big High Republic story kicks off with the Great Disaster, a hyperspace accident that sends debris raining into a star system, forcing the Jedi and Republic into a desperate race to save people before whole worlds are wiped out. Why does this matter for Eclipse? Because it tells us the tone of the era. This is not a galaxy at war yet, but it's a galaxy where horrific events can explode out of nowhere. Threats can be ideological, the Nihil's chaos, mystical, Drangir dark relics, or political. Who profits from all of this? And the Jedi's job isn't just kill the bad guys, it's hold the whole thing together. Eclipse can tap into any of that. Maybe you're a Jedi dealing with a disaster caused by hyperspace sabotage. Maybe you're a smuggler making money off that chaos. Maybe you're a diplomat trying to convince a frontier world to trust the Republic after the Republic just failed to save them. All of that fits perfectly into a branching narrative game. Now let's zoom right into Eclipse itself. Officially, Eclipse is an action-adventure game set in the High Republic era, featuring an ensemble cast of multiple playable characters in an uncharted section of the Outer Rim, with a deeply branching narrative where your decisions can change events and outcomes. That uncharted Outer Rim line is super important. Remember, in the High Republic, the Republic is expanding into the Rim. That means Eclipse is likely happening on worlds that are barely on the map, places where Republic lore is more of a suggestion, systems where the Jedi are new faces, not old legends. So your cast can easily include a Jedi or Padawan trying to live up to this Golden Age reputation, a local politician or governor caught between Republic pressure and angry locals, a smuggler or outlaw who thrives in the cracks of the expanding civilization, maybe even members of a cult, corporation, or Outer Rim faction with their own agenda. Because this era is still being fleshed out across books, comics, and shows, the devs have a huge amount of room to tell original stories that feel canon. Exactly what Lucasfilms promised when they launched the High Republic publishing line. Here's why the High Republic setting is such a cheat code for a choice-driven game. In the films, a lot of big events are already locked in. You can't just decide, nah, let's not do Order 66. But in the High Republic, the era is less mapped out. Huge parts of the Outer Rim are barely documented. You have eras of peace punctured by disasters and power plays. So your choices in Eclipse can genuinely matter on a galactic scale without breaking canon. Things like, do you side with the Republic or the locals who don't want them there? Do you protect the Jedi secret that keeps the Order's image clean, or expose it and risk shattering the Golden Age trust? Do you stop a threat early but cause collateral damage, or play it safe and let something far worse grow in the shadows? In a setting where the Republic is still figuring out how to govern the frontier, small decisions can snowball into huge consequences. A negotiation gone wrong creates a new enemy faction. A single planet's choice to join or reject the Republic reshapes trade and power in that whole sector. Letting one shady group operate in the dark might come back later as a full-blown crisis. That's prime Quantic Dream territory. So putting it all together, the High Republic, Golden Age, expansion, optimism, and Jedi Order that still believes in its own legend, beneath that shiny surface you've got nihil, Drangir, political tension, and catastrophic disasters waiting to blow holes in that optimism. Star Wars Eclipse plants you right in the middle of that, on the Outer Rim frontier with multiple playable characters all tangled up in that chaos and hope. If you go into Eclipse understanding why the Jedi is so confident here, why the Republic is obsessed with the Rim, and how quickly that Golden Age can turn ugly, you're going to pick up on way more subtext in every scene. Every choice, every moral dilemma the game throws at you. So yeah, when you see set in the High Republic era on the Eclipse marketing, it's not just a random label. It means no Clone Wars safety net, no Empire comfort zone, a brand new era where your choices can actually feel like they shape an unknown part of the galaxy. If you made it this far, first of all, you're a lore nerd and I love you for it. Drop a comment and tell me, do you like the idea of a hopeful Golden Age Star Wars game? Or do you prefer the grimy post-Empire Mando era vibe? And if you want me to do a follow-up breaking down exactly what I think the playable characters in Eclipse might be, Jedi, smugglers, cultists, whatever, let me know and I'll dive into that one next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.